Hello friends, welcome back to our channel. I hope you all are well and doing great. So today I'm back with another video to continue our UCAT test preparation. As you guys know, we have already completed our syllogism type of decision making, and now we have started our logical puzzles in the last videos of decision making. We have completed 17 questions of logical puzzles, and today we're going to continue it from question number 18, which is: at a conference, participants A, B, and C are representing continent X, and participant D and E are representing continent Y. They sit at a round table so that no two participants from the same continent are seated beside each year. The chairperson sits between participant B and C. So the question is that which of the following must be true? Option A: participant D sits beside participant A. Option B: participant E sits beside the chairperson. And option C: participant E sits between participant A and participant C. And option D says that participant D sits between participant A and participant C. So here we have a correct response is option A. From the information given, we know that the chairperson is sat between participants B and C, who both represent continent X. The seat next to participant B and the seat next to participant C must therefore be occupied by continent Y, participant D and F. So this is the reason we have, because of which our option A is the correct option. So participant A must be in the seat between participant D and E. There is not enough information to know which specific seat participant B and C and D and E are seated in. But the statement that participant D sits beside participant A is true in both possibilities. So that's why we have a correct option is option B. Next we have that Fred has an odd number of coins, which is the average number of coins that Cindy and Donna have. Mike has 8 coins and Aldrin has half as many coins as Mike. Cindy has more coins than Aldrin but fewer coins than Mike. Donna has 2 more coins than Cindy. Which of the following must be true? Option A: Aldrin and Donna have a total of 13 coins. Option B: Aldrin and Cindy have a total of 11 coins. Option C: Mike and Fred have the same number of coins. Option D: Donna and Mike have the same number of coins. So correct response we have option D. From the information given, we know that the average of Cindy and Donna's coin is an odd number because it is the same number of coins that Fred has. We know the number of coins Cindy has is more than 4 but less than 8. And the number of coins that Donna has is 2 more than Cindy. Cindy must therefore have 6 coins as it is the only number that when added to Donna's coins makes an average with an odd number. Therefore Cindy has 6 coins, Donna has 8 coins, Aldrin has 4 coins and Mike has 8 coins. So we have the correct option is D, that Donna and Mike have the same number of coins. Next we have that Peter, Matt, Dennis and Stan have last names Small, Longdon, Demon and Caprio, not in particular order. They bought a television, toaster, microwave oven and refrigerator. Each person bought only one item. The initials of names of two of them are S, L and MS. No one has initials DD. Longdon did not buy a refrigerator or toaster. Peter bought a microwave oven. Caprio did not buy a toaster. So which of the following must be true? Option A, Matt Small bought a television. Option B, Stan Longdon bought a microwave oven. Option C, Dennis Caprio bought a refrigerator. Option D, Peter Caprio bought a microwave oven. So the correct response is option C, that from the information given we can deduce the following: first name Peter, last name Demon. So these have first name, last name and purchases. So Peter Demon purchased microwave and Matt Small purchased toaster. Dennis Caprio purchased refrigerator and Stan Longdon purchased television. So that's why here we have a correct option is C, that Dennis Caprio bought a refrigerator. This one is the right option. Next question we have, should owners of hybrid cars that help combat global warming pay a reduced road fund license for a maximum of 3 years after purchase? Select the strongest argument from the statement below. Option A, yes, hybrid cars are more expensive to buy than ordinary vehicles, so potential purchasers need incentives to spend extra money. Option B, yes, it is important to encourage people to drive vehicles that do less harm to the environment if we are to combat global warming. Option C, no, since hybrid vehicles will benefit the environment for many years, tax concessions should be open-ended and not time restricted. Option D, no, reduced road fund licenses mean the government gets less tax income, so the drivers of other vehicles are subsidizing richer people. So here we have correct response is option C, and A is incorrect because it doesn't link the reduced road fund license to environmental benefits or comment on a possible time limit. It focuses more on the issue of the cars being expensive to buy. Option B is incorrect because although it links the incentive to the environment, it doesn't address the 3-year maximum benefit. Option C is correct because the argument addresses the issue of global warming and the question of a time limit. Option D is incorrect because it doesn't comment on the environmental issue that is highlighted in the question and instead addresses the public effects on government finance. So here we have option C is correct, which says no, since hybrid vehicles will benefit the environment for many years, tax concessions should be open-ended and not time restricted. Next we have that should supermarkets be stopped from selling alcoholic drinks at low prices because of the danger posed to consumers. Select the strongest argument from the statements below. Option A, yes. Supermarkets with multiple outlets are able to buy in bulk and pass savings on to consumers. But small retailers cannot obtain similar discounts and so are disadvantaged. Option B, yes. Supermarket sales of very cheap alcohol should be limited because excessive consumption can lead to dangerous health issues like cancer and cardiovascular disease. Option C, that no, drinking is a legal social activity and in a free society consumers should have the same chance to buy alcohol like any other good at a price they can afford when they wish. Option D, no, supermarkets are in business to make a profit and it is not their responsibility whether customers exercise their right to buy and drink as much alcohol as they want to. So option B is the correct response and A is incorrect because it focuses on commercial issues and doesn't say anything about danger posed to consumers. And option B is correct because it links health and excessive drinking, which may be encouraged by cheap supermarket sales. C is incorrect because it focuses on the right to buy and sell as cheaply as possible but does not address the issue of danger raised in the question. And option D is incorrect because it doesn't mention danger posed to consumers. It focuses more on the rights and responsibilities of the supermarket rather than those of the consumer. So here we have the correct option is option B, which says that yes, supermarket sales of very cheap alcohol should be limited because excessive consumption can lead to dangerous health issues like cancer and cardiovascular disease. Would it strengthen the idea of marriage if, as a means of promoting the longevity of marriages, all possibility of getting a divorce was removed? So select the strongest argument from the statements below. Option A, yes, people would take time to get to know each other and not rush into marriage. Option B, yes, married couples would work harder to keep their marriage happy and successful. Option C, no, no one would ever consider getting married in the first place. Option D, no, no one contemplates the possibility of getting divorced on the day they get married. So option B is correct and option A is incorrect because it does not mention the longevity of marriages. Option B is correct because it focuses on the longevity of marriage without divorce as a future option. Married people would have every incentive to make the marriage work long term. And option C is incorrect because it simply asserts that people would no longer choose to get married. It does not consider whether removing the possibility of divorce would strengthen and promote the longevity of marriages. And option D is incorrect because while the statement is probably true, it does not consider whether removing the possibility of divorce would strengthen the promote the longevity of marriages. So here we have correct option is option B, which says yes, married couples would work harder to keep their marriage happy and successful. So the next question is question number 21, which says, should beauty contests be banned because they are demeaning to women? Select the strongest argument from the statements below. Option A, yes. Beauty contests are a part of a male dominated system that values women solely on their appearance. Option B, yes. They promote an image of women that is unrealistic, which makes women feel inadequate. Option C, no. Women can choose to participate or not, and in a liberated society, people are free to make their own decisions. Option D, no. Looks are only one part of a beauty contest. They also judge talent and provide future opportunities for participants. So here we have option C is our correct option, and option A is incorrect because it suggests taking away people's rights to make their own decisions. Option B is also incorrect because it suggests taking away people's right to make their own decisions. Option C is correct because women should be allowed to make their own decision even if others view it as demeaning. And option D is incorrect because it only refers to the participant being demeaned rather than women in general, which is the basis for wanting to ban it. So here we have the correct option is option C, which says no, women can choose to participate or not, and in a liberated society, people are free to make their own decisions. So this is the correct option we have. Next is, should marriage be a short-term renewable contract rather than a commitment for a life? Select the strongest argument for the statements below. Option A, yes. So many marriages break down today in the first 5 years that marriage should no longer be regarded as a binding, lifelong agreement. Option B, that yes, some people now regard marriage more as a civil than religious institution, so it should be treated no differently to any other agreement. Option C, no. The need to renew a marital contract regularly could cause instability and uncertainty within a marriage. So, which could negatively affect a couple's relationship. Option D, no. Non binding alternatives to marriage already exist, and divorce is so cheap and easy that marriage is already effectively a short term contract that can be easily ended. So here we have correct response is option C, but option A is incorrect because it doesn't support the argument for a short term renewable contract or provide any alternative view. Option B is incorrect because it doesn't support the argument for a short term renewable contract or provide any alternative view. Option C is correct because this argument focuses on the devaluation of marriage, the idea of renewability, and the potential harmful effects of renewability. Option D is incorrect because it focuses solely on the short term renewable contract of marriage and does not present an argument for why it should replace a commitment for life. So, there we have the correct option is option C, which says no, the need to renew a marital contract regularly could cause instability and uncertainty within a marriage, which could negatively affect a couple's relationship. So that's why we have the correct option is C. Next we have that from society's viewpoint, should the law forbid the consumption of alcohol? Select the strongest argument from the statements below. Option A, yes, drinking involves health dangers for individuals. So society should ban alcohol consumption even though this would cause substantial unemployment, hurt sales outlets and producers, and infuriate existing consumers. Option B, yes, when individuals consume excessive amount of alcohol, they often get into fights, hurt themselves, and damage property, necessitating frequent and costly interventions by police and health services. So, a ban would save money. Option C, no, moderate consumption of alcohol is a shared player for a majority of citizens in all parts of society. So it should not be banned because of the anti-social actions of a few. Option D, no, alcohol consumption generates revenue from taxes for the government, which pay for many services, and if a ban were imposed, new and perhaps unwelcome forms of taxation would need to be found. So here we have correct response is C, but let's see why the other options are incorrect. So here we have option A. It is incorrect because it focuses on individuals' health rather than society as a whole, and mentions the economic impact of the ban rather than a societal impact. B is incorrect because it focuses on saving money for the police and health services rather than any effect on society. And the third one, that is option C, is correct because it focuses on society. It refers to shared player and entire social actions. Option D is incorrect because it focuses on taxes rather than society. So here we have a correct response is option C, which says no, moderate consumption of alcohol is a shared player for a majority of citizens in all parts of society. So it should not be banned because of the entire social actions of a few. Should refuse collectors whose work involves reducing potential health hazards to the public lose the right to strike. Select the strongest argument from the statements below. Option A, yes, when public servants like refuse collectors strike, it simply costs taxpayers more because councils must pay extra to hire private collectors to remove waste. Option B, yes, all strikes should be banned which threaten the health and well-being of citizens who have already paid for services which are being withheld. Option C, no, refuse collecting is an unpleasant and sometimes dangerous job, and unless wages are increased, it will be difficult to recruit sufficient refuse collectors. Option D, no, all workers, including public servants, are entitled to strike if their pay and conditions are unsatisfactory. And controlling hygiene threats are the employer's responsibility. So let's see which one is the correct option. So here we have correct option is option D, and option A is incorrect because it ignores the question of the right to strike and simply addresses questions of costs and savings. It ignores the question of health hazards. Option B is incorrect as it broadens the issue beyond refuse collectors, although it does address the issue of public health. The second part is not relevant as it ignores the question of the right to strike. Option C is incorrect because it focuses on the nature of the job and difficulty of recruitment but says nothing about the danger to health or the right to strike. Option D is correct because it recognizing that all employees are entitled to withhold their labor if they have grievance with their employers and considers harmful impacts by placing responsibility on the employers. So that's why we have a correct option is option D, which says no, all workers including public servants are entitled to strike if their pay and conditions are unsatisfactory. And controlling hygiene threats are the employer's responsibilities. Next we have a question number 25 which says to help provide homes for all, should single people or small families living in larger properties than they need be required to move to smaller properties to make homes available for larger families? Select the strongest argument from the statements below. Option A, yes, some housing associations already help single people or couples to move to smaller properties, vacating larger homes suitable for big families. Option B, yes, people who wish to downsize often to choose to sell their property and buy a bungalow or accommodation more suited to their needs. Option C, no, larger families need to live in areas near their work or their children's schools. But frequently, this is not where potential homes could be available. Option D, no, making people give up a home they love against their will is not compatible with a free society, and if necessary, more houses of suitable size need to be built in appropriate places. So the correct response is option D, but option A is incorrect because it does not refer to the phrases required to move or homes for all given in the question. Focusing instead on the suggestion that housing associations help people to move to smaller properties. B is incorrect because it does not refer to required to move or homes for all, focusing instead on the suggestion that people can sell their property and buy a smaller property if they choose to do so. Option C is incorrect because it does not refer to required to move or homes for all, focusing instead on the suggestion that homes may be needed in different places, even if people were compelled to move. Option D is correct because it focuses on being required to move and claims the provision of homes for all should be met by building more homes rather than compelling people to move to make way for others. So here we have option D as a correct option, which says no. Making people give up a home they love against their will is not compatible with a free society, and if necessary, more houses of suitable size need to be built in appropriate places. Should the government impose high taxes on processed meats to discourage people from buying them because of their harmful effects? Select the strongest argument from the statements below. Option A: yes, processed meats are very cheap, and if they were more expensive, people would be encouraged to buy different types of food. Option B: yes, processed meats are usually highly salted, often made in hygienic conditions, and have a high saturated fat content, which is bad for the heart and may cause cancers. Option C: that no, processed meats are the quickest and cheapest way to get a tasty meal together, and people who like this food should be free to continue eating if they wish. Option D: no, the government could achieve more change through better education of consumers on the production and content of processed meats than by increasing the price. So here we have again correct response is option D, and option A is incorrect because it puts the focus entirely on cost but does not relate it to the adverse effects on health. It fails to mention whether the different types of food would be more or less harmful to health, and it ignores the issue of government action. Option B is incorrect because it focuses on the nature of processed meats and their potentially harmful effects on health. But says nothing about discouraging consumption, or the possible effects of higher prices through taxation. Again, we have C is the incorrect option because it rejects the proposal based on the right to freedom of choice. It stresses the advantages of processed meats but omits any potentially harmful effects. There is no mention of the role of government or price increase due to high taxes. So here we have option D is the correct one because it addresses all aspects of the question in its proposal for a different solution. So we have the option D is the correct option, which says that no, the government could achieve more change through better education of consumers on the production and content of processed meats than by increasing the price. In a multicultural society, should religious symbols on funeral monuments be banned from public cemeteries to avoid offending visitors of other or no faith? Select the strongest argument from the statements below. Option A, yes, cemeteries are community spaces and anyone should be able to visit them when they want without the upset of having a religion forced on them. Option B, yes, it is much better when you go into a cemetery and see plain lawns without monuments, which simply clutter up the space and look confusing and untidy. Option C, no, it would be better if each different religion had its own cemetery so they would not need religious symbols as everybody would easily know the person's religion. Option D, no, death is a very important event and families ought to be able to commemorate someone's faith tastefully without being restricted by the intolerance of others. So here we have a correct response is option D, but other options are incorrect. So let's see why. So option A is incorrect because this answer simply reverts the content of the statement without giving explanation of how religious symbols can cause offense or why people might object to them. Option B is incorrect because this statement ignores the question of religious symbols offending visitors in favor of considering the aesthetics of cemeteries. It appears to suggest the removal of monuments rather than just the religious symbols. Option C is incorrect because the statement focuses more on religious symbols as an identifier of the person's religion rather than addressing the question of offense. Option D is correct because tolerating different views should be a key feature of a multicultural society. A person's faith is important and they should be able to celebrate it even in death. The use of tastefully implies that some limitations may be desirable. So that's why we have the correct option is option D. Next we have, should the legal voting age be reduced to 16 to overcome the issue of poor voter turnout? Select the strongest argument from the statements below. Option A, yes. If under 18s can vote, politicians will listen to them and consider the issues that affect their lives. Option B, yes. Giving 16-year-olds the vote will increase the number of people eligible to vote. Option C, no. 16-year-olds are not engaged enough to make a considered political judgment. Option C, no. 16-year-olds, and option D, no. It cannot be guaranteed that making more people eligible to vote will increase voter turnout. So here we have correct response is option D, and A is incorrect because it does not address the issue of voter turnout. B is incorrect because this would not necessarily increase voter turnout. And option C is incorrect because it does not address the issue of voter turnout. And option D is correct because it is the only response that addresses the issue of voter turnout. So here we have correct response is option D, which says no, it cannot be guaranteed that making more people eligible to vote will increase voter turnout. So will enforcing uniforms in the workplace boost productivity? Select the strongest argument from the statements below. Option A, yes. Unifying workwear promotes inclusivity and team spirit. And studies show that a sense of community at the workplace enhances performance. Option B, yes. Most employees will gain about 16 minutes per working day. This is the average time employees spend deliberating over their attire in a uniform-free workplace. Option C, yes. Workwear reduces opportunities for some employees to be judged based on wealth and class, which in turn increases the self-esteem of these employees. Option D, no. While it addresses social inequality, gender-specific uniforms will not alleviate the pressing issue of gender inequality. So option A is correct because it lists two factors that lead to a sense of community, which in turn boosts productivity. Option B is incorrect because there is no guarantee that uniforms will help save these employees 16 minutes per day. Option C is incorrect because while it is a good argument, it addresses a subset of employees. D is incorrect because although gender equality is important, the argument assumes the uniforms will be gender specific. So here we have a correct option is option A, which says yes, unifying workwear promotes inclusivity and team spirit. And studies show that a sense of community at the workplace enhances performance. So this one is the correct option. Next we have question number 30, which says, does traveling solo in a foreign country give one more opportunity to disconnect from technology than when traveling with companions? Select the strongest argument from the statements below. Option A, yes, traveling solo puts one in complete control of the situation, eliminating the need to be constant touch with travel companions to synchronize plans. Option B, yes, traveling solo gives one the freedom to choose what needs to be posted on social media instead of being forced to feature in all social media posts of travel companions. Option C, no. One is forced to individually capture and document different cultural experiences to preserve the memory of the trip when there is no companion to also record them. Option D, no. The need to use technology to help one find routes to follow, places to eat, and summon help if required is much greater when there is no companion helping. So option D is the correct response. A is incorrect because it explains the use of technology for the specific need of synchronizing plans, which does not address the issue of traveling in a foreign country. Option B is incorrect because it addresses a frivolous need for technology. And option C is incorrect because it assumes that experience can be recorded only with technology. And option D is correct because it shows specific needs that are important when traveling in a foreign country. So here we have a correct option is option D. We will continue our next question in the next video. If you have any confusion, you can ask me in the comment section.